And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday night special edition of TigerBait Live. We're going tonight because of LSU women's basketball's exhibition tomorrow night. I'll be covering that one. And of course, the men are having their exhibition right now, and they are laying the wood at halftime. It's 54-12 over Loyola. And so Matt McMahon is off to a nice start in exhibition play, and we'll follow up with that one throughout the show. But big discussion tonight. Obviously, LSU falls to Texas A&M, a very embarrassing second half in College Station. LSU open date, and Brian Kelly this afternoon talked about trying to get things fixed, and talked about the kick game and special teams and the snafus with Slade Roy and the deep snapper and Peyton Todd and Ramos getting the blame. Talked about the lack of a screen game, trying to fix the running game or discover one. That and a lot more, and maybe a little bit of feisty or sarcasm, a little bit more than usual from him this evening. But overall, I don't think it was a bad presser. Talk about that and a lot more, but welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. Look, I hope everybody doing well. Couple of tidbits. LSU has had 4 games that have had interesting second half and endings. And of course, Sellers got hurt after he torched LSU in the first half. Got hurt. LSU came back to win after 17-0 deficit. Ole Miss coulda, woulda, shoulda been up 17-20. LSU comes back to beat them in overtime. Obviously, USC, that was a game LSU could have won. Got soft and played that soft-ass zone at the end and retreated. They took the game. And then this last weekend, a lot of scrutiny about whether they or not were ready with Marcel Reed or not. They played the option quarterback before and did a good job the week before against Greenwood, Arkansas. But look, a lot to talk about tonight, a lot on the table. And I think the biggest thing with Mike is that he's got, like many of us, questions about where this program is headed in year 3. Everybody knows there's a great recruiting class potentially in December, but you're seeing some mistakes, and I'll start off tonight by saying that the offense to me is too conservative. Play calling is not good enough. I can't tell you the number of people that are sick of the second down run right up the gut. They throw it long on first down, run it up the middle on second down, incomplete on third down and punt. And all these field goals, he didn't want to take the field goal his first couple of years here. Now he's enamored with the field goal, special teams. And so, look, you got 4 games to show that you can get better in the last month. But right now, my early opinion, you lose this game to Alabama, you're going to have some people fold up the tent for this year.
I'll ask you this. I think this team in reality is where I thought they'd be at this point. However, when you beat Ole Miss at home, you laid the wood to Arkansas, and you certainly had a nice, come from behind win at South Carolina. I think maybe it gave a level of, is it fool's gold? I don't know the correct word to say. And that maybe we've seen the defense get better each week. That maybe we buy in too much that they were ahead of schedule instead of going 9-3 like most people thought. People started having visions of 11-1 and 10-2 in the last couple of weeks. But in reality, I should have dug around. Maybe some of you in the chat, or maybe it right off the top. Have you seen what the numbers are for any SEC school winning 2 road games in a row in the league?
Yeah, they're not good.
It is difficult.
It's very difficult, and LSU looked a half a step slow. Looked like they had didn't have their legs and got that, I think, the confidence early on. You're winning 17-7 and dominating the game, but you had 2 stops on defense to start the second half. Wegman gets pulled. Mike Elko did a great job. And let's be honest, they made the coaching decisions in the second half to win the football game, along with making the call to bring in a new quarterback. But I got to be honest. We could talk about so many things that people aren't happy with. And I'll start off with Chris Hilton. We have all been wanting Chris Hilton to play.
I didn't like it.
But BK said on numerous occasions he's going to be rusty AF. And guess what? He was.
And it stalled 2 drives.
And stalled 2 drives, but it's got to piss off the guys who've been working their tail off.
But that's the other problem.
Tre'Davious Green, you're playing 41 plays, and he looks like he's got potential, almost a touchdown in this game. I don't know how many snaps he got. My point is that Snake.
C.J. Daniels got hurt and didn't see the rest of the game. Xavion Thomas is undersized. Kyle Parker's out. The fact of the matter is this wide receiver group is – I mean, I like Lacey and Anderson, but after that, you don't have much.
Well,
that's the facts.
But they didn't go back to Anderson, and this is why. Look,
Shelton Sampson.
And I'm not pointing this just at Joe Sloan, because I definitely think that when you have a first-year starter at quarterback and 2 new coordinators, and you've been coaching for 30-something years and having the success, you're not just going to give them carte blanche. There is plenty of hands on each other, heavy-handed and hamstringing with that play calling, and that's what bothers me. Listening to that press conference today, they got to open up and score and get more. Do you
think BK's getting a little upset with Frank? Do you think Frank's, do you think he's looking at him and thinking that these running backs are not hitting the right holes? Because he mentioned that tonight.
He's looking at anybody to blame right now, and that's part of the problem. But look, here's the skin. If you beat Alabama on the night of November 9th, then you got to follow it up the next 3 games. You got a chance to do something special. I know you wouldn't go to Vegas and think that they'd have a chance to 10-2. You've got to get better, but you've got to change the philosophy. What I'm getting at is that did we see Mason Taylor get enough balls the other night?
No.
Did you see him go back to Aaron Anderson?
Where's Pimpton, by the way?
Well, that's going to be a guy that goes in the transfer portal. Okay, that's what you do when you don't play people. Caleb Jackson. Why is he going to stick around if he's not going to get a chance to play? I'm not trying to intimate that we know inside stuff. This is the kind of stuff, KYP. Everybody's got football acronyms, KYP. Know your personnel. And I'm sorry, I don't think they've done a good job. And not to take a shot at Peyton Todd, but there's not one media person that saw the litany of punts that we saw and thought that he'd be starting.
I'm saying it right now, and I've been saying it over and over again. There is no more important position in the transfer portal. We're hitting November this weekend on Friday, and so you're a month out from the transfer portal. There's no more important position than wide receiver. They have got to get at least 2 big-time wide receivers in the portal. Absolutely.
Now let's spin the good side of things as we open up on some.
And
of the
I think Garrett
stuff.
Nussmeier needs to run the ball more.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Dude, if he gets hurt, this season's history. Well, they don't have a backup.
I mean,
they don't have a backup.
And that's part of the reason why I think the running game isn't where it is.
But let's give some positives real quick, and then we'll get to the Bryce Underwood and Jakeem Stewart are both coming in. They're 5 stars, a big-time player on defense that has no tough decision.
Yeah, but he's tweeting out today all the news about Underwood in Michigan. What's he retweeting all that for?
Well, let me tell you what. If Bryce Underwood goes and plays for Michigan with that interim coach and the direction and what they call on offense, I think that LSU is going to be okay with Underwood. If Stewart, all these other, Lamar Brown, all of them, this is what you get in recruiting. But my point is that the fan base has got to get over this hissy fit and get back and make that stadium as exciting as it was 2 years ago.
Is disgusted as everybody is with that A&M second half performance. I'm on the verge, and I've been not on the verge. I've been thinking it for days. I think they're beating Alabama. I think they're going to beat Alabama next weekend.
I don't know. I saw Alabama have some running backs, and oh, by the way, Jalen Milroe had 6 touchdowns last year. Kelly beat up House because he didn't have a spy on him. We'll ask the question next week. Are you going to put a freaking spy on Jalen Milroe? But look, everybody has the same reaction. Just last week, Paul Feinbaum, was saying that the end is near and Caleb DeBoer is all the – it's week to week, folks. You've never seen more parity in college football than this year.
Because,
He just wanted
it ain't
clicks.
much of a stretch prediction to say that South Carolina is going to take care of A&M this coming weekend.
You just never know. So hang in there, Tiger fans.
All right, y'all do us a favor. Obviously, we're a night early. A lot of people probably don't know that we're doing the show tonight. Please hit the like button, share it out to your social media. Let your fellow LSU friends know that we're live now. We're going to go till 9 o'clock. And, of course, Call Me Larry says, hit the likes. Dane Bergeron, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Mick McGrath, evening, gents. Dane Bergeron says, Dr. Daniels and I are pissed. If BK fails to put a spy on Milroe, I'm going to scream. Nuss look a little wide-eyed at A&M, says Spectrum Wellcare. R says, how does a team which once featured Fournette, Jeremy Hill, Geis, and many more cannot run the ball when needed?
You know, they have not had a marquee superstar running back since Clyde Edwards-Helaire in 19. No disrespect to Nick Brissett and all these other guys, but seriously. And it's been running back by committee, but I know Snake is sitting in there. Durham had no run, and I actually had people. You know I don't text and fool around with people during the game because I'm looking down and you're missing stuff. But people were telling me after the game, I read some of the stuff you got the last week about all the things that people were telling you, but I was begging for the toss back to the tailback. A la Les Miles. That's how bad the offensive game plan. And it's not just Joe Sloan. This has got BK written all over it. And that's another thing that people don't want to realize. Nuss is growing up. We talked about this, and people got honest about this. You cannot expect Nussmeier not to play and have the same kind of problems that Burrow had in year one and Daniels had in year one. You don't learn this game in the film room and holding the clipboard. You can't learn it until you experience it. So you're going through that, but Nuss has got to get better. I actually said today, I'd get him in a room with his shrink and let him talk for about an hour and a half. Get it out.
It's getting really bad in the PMAC. 69-21, LSU over Loyola. Carter with 13 points. Givens and Bailey each with 7. Collins with 4 and Miller the third with 2. So, and there's a more complete box than that. A lot of scoring in this one for the Tigers.
But that's a positive. Collins is a big 6'9" kid from Kentucky that really didn't do anything last year. You get him playing, this team's got a chance to win some games.
Absolutely. All right, let me scroll down. I got a super chat from Dane I need to get to. And there it is. Mike, it's not just a loss. It's the way LSU lost. The A&M game is up there with the Jamie Howard interception game. Miles' first Tennessee game blowing a 21-point lead in the 21-0 loss to Bama BCS. Miles' first game, 2005. That was the Katrina Monday night game, right?
Yep. We were in Atlanta that year. They went to Atlanta. And Jimbo and I
told Bill Franquez and them that they need to play the Monday Night Football theme song for that game, and they did.
But Jimbo told me that they were up 21-0 at halftime, and Jimbo called every play in the first half, and Les took over the play call in the second half. You see the result. Look, I think that's a little overreaction. No disrespect. I saw the post on the site. Come on, this was not a national championship game. This was a regular season game that they didn't win. But guess what? Carolina and Ole Miss felt the same way when LSU beat them this year. You've got to finish games, but you also got to call the right plays. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, if you just correct me if I'm wrong, if LSU wins out, they're going to be okay. The problem is I don't know anybody that thinks they're going to win out. Do you?
No. Well, maybe FizzBuzz. Andy, if you're here tonight, he's going to let us know if he's still predicting that. Hey, Dane, thank you for that super chat. CJ Daniels is needed, says Spectrum Wellcare. Absolutely. He was missed bad. In that one the other night. Nuss not running is killing us, says American Patriot. I'm not saying that you run him and like he's a running quarterback. I think he just needs to take the opportunity to get those first downs like Burrow did throughout 2019. He's a lot quicker than Burrow, and I think that would open up the defense if they've got to respect that. Let's see. One second, guys. I'm trying to. Mick McGrath, remember when Les Miles had OBJ simulate Johnny Manziel in practice? He did it again for Lamar Jackson at Worth both times. Is Les Miles smarter than BK?
Well, Dave Aranda was and look, let's be honest with Manziel. That was Chief. That was John Chavis. John Chavis' defense was 2-0 against Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. Look, you can talk all about the scheme. Major Burns had a bad game and made 2 tackles. Whit Weeks, Olade on the touchdown. I mean, the players have got to have some kind of accountability. I know we blame the coaches a lot, but this is a complete package. And you heard him talking about the battery with the snapper and the holder and the kicker. What's the same thing with offense, defense, and special teams? And so they've got to get better in 10 days. That's all there is to it.
American Patriot. Hey, Mason Taylor is the best tight end, Mike. We've talked about that. I think before Taylor, I'd probably go Robert Royal over Richard Dixon. Maybe you can flip those if you want, make an argument. But I do think he's probably the best. And I'm not taking – and David LaFleur's up there, but he was more of a traditional guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about receiving tight ends, Taylor is certainly the number one.
And Moss had a great year in 19. I mean, you can tell with I don't think that they're calling the right patterns for Mason Taylor. I mean, they threw a 30-yard pass across the field to get 3 yards. And so, look, I think this is BK. He had Denbrock and he had House. Now he's got 2 younger guys. I think there's some transition, but they've got to get on the same page. And if they play conservative and play for field goals, they will lose to Alabama. That field goal love has got to go away real quick.
Is this the former senator from Louisiana? It says John Bro. I was at the game. It was very loud and raucous. I thought our D played well for the most part, but our offense didn't do our D any favors by giving A&M short fields to work with.
Yeah, let's address that.
Thank you, Senator.
What did you think when you saw the game? Look, the first one, he's running to the left. I hate a rollout to the left. You're throwing across the body, and you got a guy in close coverage, and he's trying to lob it over his head, and it was short. The second one, he got baited. This guy came off of his receiver and baited him, and he came in. It was an easy INT. And then the third one, I'm not sure what.
I don't know what the hell that one was.
But my point is this. LSU fans are spoiled. Jay Daniels threw 3 interceptions his first year and 4 last year. Nuss has already thrown 9. So I think they've got to give him. Remember the short game they opened up with? They went right down the field with the short passing game. Hadn't gone back to that. I think that's what Joe Sloan wants to do. I think BK wants to do other things. They have got to do a better job because you don't like the receivers. I think LSU's got plenty of depth at receivers.
I like the receivers.
If they put them in the right position. I like
your first 2. I don't like the whole group. Yeah. I think it's lacking. But I'm really mainly talking about the future. I think that position's in trouble if they don't get the portal right. Carver's door, Peyton Todd needs the bench.
Seriously.
Man, when you looked at what A&M's punter was doing, flipping the field, that dude was fantastic for the Aggies.
But here's the thing, and it hit me because, the old days, going back to Snake and Tiger Shark and everybody who's north of 50, the backup quarterback used to hold. Now, for some reason, the punter's been holding. And I saw it in the spring game. Go to the tape. They missed a field goal because Todd had problems with the hold. I specifically asked Coach Kelly about that's remember when he was saying we're going to have 2, but no disrespect, Nurse Court, to your 337 and 318 and all the other area codes that you promote as a great Tiger fan. Peyton Todd is not good enough to be anywhere else starting in this league. I'm sorry. And Oxendorf should have gotten a chance. I don't know how he holds, but he's a better punter than 38.
Music. There's no elite receivers. If Nuss had Burrow and Jaden's wide receivers, he'd win 2 Heismans. I like what Aaron Anderson.
Come on now. The guy just threw 3 interceptions, and you're talking about 2 Heismans. Cut that crap out. Come on. Stupid.
I love what Aaron Anderson's doing. Obviously, Kyron Lacey, but man, they just had some bad luck. I mean, what might Kyle Parker be doing if he was healthy? Losing CJ early in the game the other night. Of course, Chris Hilton, all his troubles.
Oklahoma's lost 5 wide receivers. This is why you have to have so many great players.
And LSU doesn't have many there at wide receiver. They've got numbers, but they're not ready. And some of them, frankly, you can start using the word bust.
And I blame you.
And you know who I'm talking about.
I blame you for snake bit Kyron Lacey. Because Mike saw him at a cocktail place, and the guy was shooting lemon drops.
Mm-hmm.
All kidding aside, he's had his drops again. You got on him. He was good for a while. Had another damn drop.
My fault.
Had another damn drop for first down. Concentrate. See the ball in. Catch it in. Take it to the ground. I mean, at sometimes it's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for the coaches. But look, LSU's got to play better. And these players have got to be just as accountable as the coaches are.
All right, let me get this one in real quick, and then I got to pay some bills. American Patriot with a super chat. Mike, we have Taylor, the best tight end. He only got 3 passes. I'm not lumping in Taylor. I mean, if you're talking about receivers overall, ball catchers, yeah, but I'm not lumping in the tight ends when I'm saying that the receivers they're missing a bunch of them. Thank you for that super chat. Of course, we're here each and every week. Our title sponsor, Pride Roofing. Let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride. And where are they at? Mm-hmm. Did it get hidden from me? Hold on. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you go. Give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait. You're going to get free TigerBait Premium for a year. Got another one this afternoon that called in and said TigerBait that I've got to hook up with a free subscription for 1 year of TigerBait Premium. Anywhere in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Homa, North Shore, of course, based in Hammond, owned and operated by an LSU grad, a fellow Broadmoor High grad here in town. And nobody does it better than Pride Roofing.
Hey, residential, commercial, and metal roofs. Once again, we tell you this every week because metal roofs are hot right now, folks. And the acquisition of Crown Metals has changed the metal roofing business in the state of Louisiana. We ask you to give them an opportunity. 855-PRIDE-16. And Mike, do we still have that guarantee that we had last week?
It's nonstop. If you've got another company's bid on their letterhead, they will beat it by $150.
There you go. They sharpen the pencil. They're going to get there early, do it right, and you will have great pride. Once again, folks, Pride Roofing couldn't do it without Mike and Alex and his great team.
Absolutely. And I want to thank Alumni Hall for being a sponsor of our show for many years now. And so listen up, Tiger fans. I'm going to tell you the best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. Alumni Hall, they're your ultimate shopping destination for LSU fans. They've got it all. Nike gear, Champion, Johnny O, On Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and more. They've got the nice polos you've been looking for. And, of course, I'm hoping we're going to get some cold weather soon, but they're geared up for it. They've got all the new hoodies, the quarter zip pullovers, all the really nice stuff that you see the coaches wear on the sideline each week. A hat selection that's an entire wall of the store. So you got to get over there. Apparel for the family, men's, women's, kids, and free shipping on all orders over $99. If you use the code TigerBait in store or online, you're going to get 10% off of your purchase. So go over to that store and don't forget to say it. I was talking to the folks over there, and they said many of y'all have been going over there and shopping and using the TigerBait when you check out, and we appreciate y'all doing that. All right, let's get back to some comments. Blaine Smith, this is the most finesse O-line at LSU. Let's see. Blaine Blaine Smith, Nuss was not taking what the Aggies were giving him. A lot of underneath wide receivers were open. Aaron Anderson was open a lot the other night. John Bro, I'm not impressed with Alabama. Barely beat South Carolina. Blew out a bad Missouri team. We will beat Alabama. I like LSU next week. One thing we know about the history of LSU football, whenever they've had some stinkers, they've got a great history of rebounding the next week.
And BK is undefeated in Tiger Stadium at night, and we kind of threw that out with Ole Miss, and LSU was an underdog in that game and came back and then
everybody would be right back on track to where they were before the A&M game.
But it is a must win because you get to 6-3 at this point, and then I think people get a little disappointed and let's be honest, Mike, whether you get paid $10 million or $13 million like Kirby, 9-3 is not good enough for a top program in the SEC. It might happen one time, but this is year 3, so big game.
But I think that's the fear. If it's always 9-3 and the whole 10 win in the bowl game deal, the fear is that it's looking like a Mark Richt or a Kirk Ferentz.
And that's why you got to keep this 25 recruiting class intact.
Yep. Cannot lose Bryce Underwood. I know there's a lot of scuttlebutt on that. Cannot lose him.
I just don't see how that young man watches Monday Night Football a couple of Monday nights ago and seeing that Burrow came in here and what was his stock rated?
What Daniels did Sunday.
No, but Burrow came over here, and I think the first year in 18, they told him he's like a 5th-round draft choice. Same thing with Jaden Daniels. If you get here and get developed, that's where you make the big money, not just $5 million over 3 years. I think that's the latest offer that Michigan is touting. But look, he's from the state of Michigan. I think he loves it in Baton Rouge. But let's be honest, and this is one of the things I was talking about. They gotta have a little more fun on offense. We're talking about Chris Hilton and Mason Taylor. Chris Hilton got more targets than Mason Taylor last week, and he's been off on the shelf, hadn't played all year long. That's not right. Something is FU there. Something wrong.
Come on, Hankton.
Well, it's Joe Sloan, it's BK, it's all of them.
Yeah.
And it's Frank.
We talked about the rotation at running back. We got to give Coach Hankton a little bit of it.
Caleb Jackson, seriously, you saw the kid. He got hurt, didn't play his last year. We saw him. You got to get him in space. But he had those 2 great runs against Arkansas. Looked the fastest he looked all year long. We hadn't seen him since. That's what makes players say, F it. I'm going somewhere I can play. I just don't think that they've done a great job with personnel and lately.
King MJ 205, Nuss been throwing into double, triple coverage all season. Even the Arkansas, he could have had at least 2 picks. Kelly Watley, great show, guys. Can't understand how the defense can implode so fast. Music, Gump's about to get their next loss in Tiger Stadium. BK is elite after a bye.
Well, let's give him credit now. He did beat Nick Saban in Tiger Stadium that first time, and he had the coconuts to call those plays at the end and get in. Oh, by the way, Mason Taylor was phenomenal in that game, if you go back to that. But I just worry about being too conservative on offense. Mike, you got to score points. I don't care who you are. And these kids want to see motion. They want to see throwing the ball in space. I just don't you think the play calling was vanilla against A&M?
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest play they had was a 3-back set and throwing to Mason Taylor for the tight end.
In our live TigerBait chat that we do during the game, I said, man, this is going to be LSU Ole Miss in reverse. If they don't convert and put this team away. And sure enough, and that's what BK said on Fine Ball Monday. Exactly what I was saying during the game Saturday night. Same thing happened, but in reverse, the bad way. You get in the red zone, the missed field goals, not getting touchdowns. I mean, LSU really should have been up like 28. Should have at least been mid-20s to 28 points at halftime. And then you know what happened and here's the other part of it. I think if LSU had a legit number 2 quarterback, you would have yanked Nussmeier in the second half. I would have. If you would have had the option that A&M had, Marcel Reed behind Nussmeier. I would have pulled Nussmeier in the second half.
But
there's no confidence in Ricky Collins.
Well, you don't have – those guys haven't played. A.J. Swan played at Vanderbilt.
I would have yanked him.
Yeah, well, I disagree. You're not going to yank him, and you can't run him and get him hurt. That's all you got at quarterback this year. Sorry. That's the reality.
That's the point. But I'm saying if you did have somebody, you would have put him in.
He definitely needs to I don't know what he needs to do, but he's got to stop panicking and throwing it up for grabs. He's just got to.
King MJ didn't think he's putting some of it on Sloan not being ready. I don't know if that's.
I agree with that. Joe Sloan's not ready to call plays at this, but BK's right there too. It's both of them.
Gerard Guillory, all three of Nuss's interceptions were what the hell that was.
The second one, the guy tricky.
Why passing the ball on 3rd and 2?
And we've seen Xavier Thomas on an end around or a sweep lately. I think we saw one in the Arkansas game. He got 5 yards, or maybe this last game. I'm just saying what bothers me now is as we get into the season more and more, I think he's a conservative coach offensively, and he wants to play that old school mentality, and you can't because it happens so quick when you get these explosive difference makers. And that kid that came in was fantastic, but LSU didn't touch him. They treated him like he was the homecoming queen in a dress. Didn't touch him. Knocked the living crap out of the next quarterback and punish him.
Man, his ball fakes were superb.
Well, he had the ball in the running back for a long time and then took it in and went. But they got to tackle the quarterback.
I'm convinced those all-black uniforms helped. I couldn't find the ball. That kid's good, man. If I'm Connor Wegman, I'm hitting the road.
But he hadn't been consistent. He started a few games when Connor Wegman was hurt, though, and he laid an egg. And so
he looked like the second coming of Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, but that's 20-something.
We'll see what happens. Dane Bargeron with another super chat. Get the ball to Aaron Anderson. I watched the game at Don Juan with T-Bob and screamed for LSU to attack the middle. Aaron Anderson took the house on the next play. Thank you for that, Dane. Aaron Anderson's been a big bright spot, absolutely. Dr. John Sibley Butler in the house. Coaches can't teach a kid how to catch a ball, make a basket, or hit a golf ball. Those skills have to be developed before college.
By the way, of course, Dr. Butler, a Hall of Famer at both Texas and LSU. Vanderbilt is going to come in, and if you ever talk about a quarterback that's got an it factor and a tough son of a gun, Diego's coming in here after the Florida game. And look, Mike, we always used to say, well, Vandy's a win. This game's a win. Every week, you can't do it. Texas only beat Vandy by 3. They are a pain in the butt. Florida's playing better. I was totally wrong. I thought Billy Napier would be having the sign out, need a coaching job at this point. And of course, what do you think of DeBoer so far in his first year to Alabama?
It's a mixed bag.
His defense is not nearly as good. In fact, they're the 3rd worst SEC defense against the run, but LSU can't push anybody around. If they can't run on Alabama,
I just wouldn't want to be, the Alabama coach. You want to have you want to have a Ray Perkins and a Bill Curry and on and on.
Well, would you want to follow Skip Bertman? I mean, it's simple deal.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to follow legends.
Right.
But he's done a good job. They did look good against Missouri. They got a couple of running backs that got but the whole key is you got to contain Milroe. You got to know.
Trucking with Casper. Is this new schedule? I thought we're Wednesday nights. It's just tonight. Of course, during basketball season, we typically have to move around some here and there. But I got to work the women's exhibition tomorrow night. And the men, 4 minutes left. It's 99-41. So LSU is going to score well over 100 before this one's over with.
Basketball games do happen on Wednesdays, so we will have some tweaked schedules. And look, that's Mike's baby. You can't mess with women's basketball now. Nobody covers women's basketball like my buddy to the right here.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see what happens tomorrow night. We get Samaya to play. Is Michaela back? Poa back? Mike, why does Sloan keep calling zone reads if we all know Nuss is never pulling it?
Especially on second down, right up the middle, there's nowhere to go. It's a good question.
I was fantasizing the other night that wouldn't it be nice if LSU actually, had one fullback on the roster they could use in certain situations.
Well, it goes to show you when you
line Caleb Jackson up as a fullback.
Well, but let's go back to the original preseason. And the talk was that LSU had the best offensive line in the country and was compete to win the Joe Moore Offensive Line of the Year award. And they hadn't sniffed it. They haven't effing sniffed it. They've had a crap year. Let's just call it the way they hear. Mm-hmm. 4 guys are veterans, and you got a redshirt freshman at center who's learning. But Will Campbell's not going to tell you he's played great. Emory Jones is not going to tell you he's played great. Deleger's hurt, by the way, in case you missed, high ankle sprain. And you got to get somebody ready. I don't see him being ready on a high ankle sprain for Alabama. So now do you bring Bordelon in at guard? Mubinga didn't get it cut. He didn't cut the mustard. So do you bring that? Do you move Emory inside and put Weston Davis outside? I mean, this is where Brad Davis and those guys got to earn their money. But Deleger right now will get an update, but high ankle sprain. And that generally is a couple weeks longer than.
Yeah, I don't expect him for Alabama.
No, I don't either.
Pierce Lee feels really concerned to see Lamar Brown's recent comments toward Texas A&M. Texas A&M has always recruited U-High pretty darn good, but they don't always end up with the prize.
Well, but look, he said a bunch of other stuff too. So, and look, the bottom line is that a lot of stuff is said. Don't you expect Bryce Underwood coming to Baton Rouge against Alabama that game?
It would be a bad sign if he doesn't.
Oh, if he doesn't, then I'm. But I think that now here's the thing: everybody knows early December.
I mean, I say that. I mean, who knows? Is there a homecoming dance? I mean, who knows?
Well,
winter ball, whatever.
Another reason it's so big for these fans to rid the bad feelings, they've got to make Tiger Stadium. I was impressed with I went to Aggie Land 20-something years ago when it was not nearly the venue it is now. 108. They were quiet. They were getting dominated, and then they got crazy loud. But bottom line is that Tiger Stadium has got to come alive for next Saturday night, and the fans are going to have to help them just like they did against Ole Miss a few weeks ago.
Andy Whitaker, the people who had LSU going 75 this year are the ones who are most pissed about Saturday night. LSU is exceeding expectations this year, and people need to calm down. The roster is still in rebuild. Andy, are you still – where do you have LSU's record finishing out? And no one has LSU going 7-5. I was thinking 8-4, but I ended up going with 9-3 before the season.
Yeah, and look – we saw that there was.
But believe me, had they lost to Ole Miss, I would have been revising to 7-5 that night.
Well, I will say this, and there's some scuttlebutt going on around the conference.
That doesn't make me unhappy or happy.
But here's the deal: this schedule ended up being pretty damn tough. Vanderbilt is appreciably better. Florida and Napier are playing better. Now Oklahoma's had a bunch of injuries; they're not going to have much at the end of the year. Alabama's a crapshoot, but Ole Miss is certain. How would you like to be an Ole Miss fan?
Is Vanderbilt a tougher game than anybody left on LSU's schedule, or just as tough as Alabama?
No, I don't think so. But Alabama, let's go one week at a time. But Vandy is not a layup. I'll just say that. Look, it's great. What you think? You think A&M beats Carolina?
I'm not convinced. Not after that. Not after beating LSU that way.
Well, so
now you go on the road, and now everybody's anointing them. Being for real and about to be a power for the end of days.
Hate to say this, Dr. Butler. I think there's a lot of good teams in the SEC. I don't know if I've seen a great team in the SEC yet.
I will say this. I was thinking Texas A&M. I've been thinking all season long Texas A&M is going to beat Texas. Kind of pulling for it. After Saturday night, I'm with Dr. Butler. I'm pulling for Texas against A&M.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's the crazy thing about college football this year. There's not been a dominant team that's looked great. Oh, by the way, Ohio State and Penn State, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. That's 2 or 3, number 2 and 3 ranked teams. Oregon to me looks like the cream of the crop, but then again, they can lay an egg as well. Who do you think is going to be in the SEC championship game? Everybody said Georgia and Texas before. I don't know if that's going to come about. Depends on if A&M.
Georgia in the winner of Texas A&M.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But a lot of parity in college football. So there are no givens. And boy, if you're a gambler, I don't know how you make money with these crazy games this year.
Or maybe it's LSU, South Carolina. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's so many scenarios now. All right, let's hear from Genesis of Lafayette.
Drive-in style and luxury with a new Genesis from Genesis of Lafayette. Buy a 2023 Genesis G70 3.3T Sport Prestige Executive Demo and pay only $39,870. Buy a new 2025 GV70 and take $2,000 off the MSRP with value owner, competitive owner incentive, plus finance for 2.99% APR for 60 months or 3.99% APR for 72 months. Don't forget to start your shopping online by visiting genesisoflafayette.com.
And there it is. Jaron Guidry, sales manager, best salesman of the year, Blake Mesh. There's a reason why Genesis of Lafayette sells more Genesis vehicles than any other dealer in the state of Louisiana. For the very best buyer experience of a new luxury SUV or sedan, call them toll-free to set up your test drive, 877-856-2961, and tell them TigerBait sent you. Beautiful showroom on Johnson Street in Lafayette. Huge LSU fans. And I'm telling you, I don't care where you're at in the state of Louisiana. If you're interested in a Genesis vehicle, give them a call. They will absolutely earn your business.
And I got to say, every time I mention the vehicle for your better half, she lights up. And I've never seen somebody.
She loves it.
She loves it. She's very happy.
Absolutely. All right. Got a basketball score update, 105-41 LSU over Loyola of Louisiana. 2 minutes, 26 seconds left. Of course, that's an exhibition game, and Buddy's got an update on the World Series.
Yankees have had trouble producing runs. They scored too late last night, but still got beat 4-2. So this is a winner. If the Yankees don't win, the series is over, but they do have a 5-3 lead. Dodgers batting in the 5th inning, so still a long way to go. A lot of Yankee fans are hoping they can at least salvage this game. Of course, you got to continue to win, but it looks like it's going to be a Dodgers. It just depends on how many games.
Call me Larry. Hey, Mike, do you think the program is going in the right direction? I do. You've got to hold on to this recruiting class. You can't lose an Underwood or anybody like that. And you need to have a couple of those in a row. You absolutely do. And you got to be really good in the portal. And I think they've got a darn good handle as well on recruiting their own roster. I know Sherman Wilson is in charge of retention. I like that. That's where he's at. He's a great guy, and he's got a great relationships with all the players. I mean, it's a whole thing. I mean, you've got to do everything. You've got to maintain your current roster. If anybody's upset with playing time and you think they've got a bright future, you got to make sure you hold on to them. And I talked about the wide receiver position, and there's others where you've got to be on top of that portal and fill in the gaps. You might really like your what's coming in for your freshman class at midterm or in June. But you also have to realize that those guys are a year or two away at multiple positions. Some of them are going to need time, regardless how highly rated they are. So, sometimes you got to have some experience, and that's the long and short of it. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how he inherited a roster with 38 guys, and we're in year 3, and he still needs more time. I think there were some mistakes, obviously. But I think the mistakes that were there are fixed with the defensive staff. Now those guys need to be given time to recruit their positions, which you've got to like this class. And I like the start they're on for 2026 as well.
I never thought I'd have heard you say those 2 words again.
What's that?
I do.
I do.
You get it? I do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, look, I thought you gave a great answer. it's how you want to look at it. If your glass is half empty, then you can sit there and talk for 5 minutes about what's wrong. If your glass is half full and you want to believe that they're going to get their act together and do a better job of being ready to play and finishing the thing, then the optimism is rightfully there. I think that you've got to be cognizant of the following facts. 60% of this coaching staff is new, 6 out of 10 coaches. Garrett Nussmeier has never started at LSU before other than the bowl game. This is the toughest league in the conference. It might not be the greatest with the top, but 1 through 10, 11 this year is phenomenal. So on the other hand, you're getting paid $10 million a year, $9.5 million a year, whatever, to bring back LSU. And what did everybody and why did BK come here? He came here to win SEC championships and natties. And so the question is that you've been kind of talking about on the periphery all year, how close are you getting into the playoffs? And it doesn't look like to me they're going to make the playoffs this year. So if you don't, then what are you going to do the next couple of years? I don't think Nuss is potentially going to go pro now. I think he's got too much.
That's the question up on the screen. Mike, you think Nuss returns next season? I do.
Yeah, he's got to return. He's just got to.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his skins on the wall, doesn't have the experience. But all that being said, they've got a chance. But it's never been tougher to win in the SEC than it is right now. Never.
Pearl River Fury. Sorry, Mike. He should have great classes for 10 years. I think a big part of it too is to make sure that Austin Thomas has a big bag of money to spend. And I know that the word I get that he's very happy with with the pot of money he's got to work with. And so let's see what he can do. Fan reacts. I wish Kelly wouldn't try to think of everything to say and just speak his mind. He tends to stutter because he's trying to find the most political thing to say. There you go. Let's see what Kenny says. He just got a Mercedes. Let me tell you something, Kenny. If it's not made in Germany, you made a bad decision.
Hey, by the way,
I'm not buying no Mercedes made in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Tiger Shark
or BMW.
Tiger Shark.
Yeah.
I got the biggest kick.
We had a Mercedes in the driveway. That's what she traded in. It was a hunk of junk.
But I got a big kick out of reading him, and they were talking about how, there was back and forth about I got so pissed and I did this and all that. Kenny says, I have to sometimes back away and go take a walk. And he says the wife has enough energy and anxiety for the both of us. It is amazing to me in this day and age how everybody is affected. The wives, the kids, everybody. And I know it's a religion down here in the South, but a great story from Shark, who, by the way, does a great job of sponsoring you guys on the post game, and won't have any action this week. But Mike, 6:44 actual kick. So Alabama, you're looking at midnight. Let's hope it's a special night because 2 years ago that was. Would you say that was his best victory so far? Beating Nick first time Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
Too. Absolutely.
Fan reacts. Underwood isn't going anywhere. He's taken 0 visits anywhere else and has been committed for almost a year.
And you know what this does with Michigan?
And believe me, Joe Sloan and he are very, very close.
But you know what this does in the grand scheme of things with this money, this pile of money Michigan's offering him, don't you?
What's that?
It just puts a few more in the LSU dollars that he's going to get. Supply and demand. I know you had a ballpark figure, and we're not going to sit there and throw numbers around because you can ever tell exactly how.
Well, in my question, let's say it does get way out of whack. At what point does LSU have to say, "Man, we got to walk away"?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. He is phenomenal, and let me tell you what he brings, which I think is something that everybody's got to have on their team nowadays. You have got to have a dual threat quarterback, and we talked about it. Burrow didn't want to run in 18 because Miles Brennan was hurt, the backup. I mean, they don't have a backup, folks, but I guarantee you it makes a big difference. Bryce Underwood is a dual threat, and he can do it all. Big arm, the whole 9 yards, and is a great runner, too.
All right, everybody. Let me tell you about Stroubes Seafood and Steaks, located at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Stroubes prides itself on providing a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price, locally owned with ownership in the building. taking a high level of pride in the food and service you won't see from any corporate establishment. Full menu of specialty meats, including USDA prime Black Angus steaks and 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And for those looking for something outside of red meat, they offer items such as the dry-aged pork chop, black truffle lobster pasta, redfish, and much more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com and make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And that cowboy ribeye that's on your screen looks fantastic right now after having to eat a turkey sandwich tonight. But I'm going to make my way back over there, and I recommend you give them a good try as well. And in fact, I know Tiger Sharks and his group's going over there in December, and hopefully I'm going to go get to meet them over there that night. And supposedly the wine's going to be flowing and everything else. Andy Whitaker says he's going this weekend for his anniversary. He's excited. All right. Thank you, Andy.
Pork chop is fantastic. I know you love the cowboy ribeye, but everything they have over there, folks.
Absolutely.
By the way, Dodgers have crawled back and scored another run, so it is now 5-4 in the fifth inning, and you Yankee fans have a lot of sweating to do. They got to win tonight.
Dr. Butler with a super chat. Thank you. He says, do you think that Nuss's style, LSU is the most exciting SC team and has produced the most explosive plays? Is it too early to be so critical of Nuss? If he stays, can he be like Favre? I'm assuming he meant he put Favre, but it's type Favre. Yeah. I agree with what Buddy said earlier in the show. This is his first time being a starter. He's going to have growing pains. And just like people were calling for Nuss in 2022 because they didn't like what they saw out of Jaden Daniels. And, 2018, Burrow looked average for most of that season. And it takes time. And Nussmeier deserves time. He's waited his time, and I think he deserves time. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt and for people to be patient with him. That's just my.
I was just going to say, I think the worst thing that happened with Nuss this year.
I do think, though, he should take the opportunity when he sees open field and take the yards, run. And because he's a much better slider than a lot of quarterbacks we've seen at LSU, I'm not worried about him getting hurt. There's a difference between design runs for him that's going to put him in harm's way and him seeing an open field versus thinking his arms can get him out of trouble.
Yeah. I just think the worst thing that happened with Nuss this year was those early BS bullshit. Oh, he's a first-round pick. And we had this show conversation, all the other shows.
Well, there was a lot of excitement.
Wait till you do it against the SEC. This is a gauntlet. Every defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator are pretty good. And so it's way too early. But we heard this, 3-4 weeks ago. Oh, man, he's mock draft, got him in the first round. You got to let this guy evolve, and he still is a gunslinger. I think I predicted 31 touchdowns and 11 or 12 INTs. It's 20-9. But, Mike, the last 3 or 4 games, he's had some bad moments. He had some bad moments against Ole Miss until those great throws. So I think they got to be a little more consistent. They got to help him out with play calling. But he has got to stop doing the kind of things he did Saturday night. That just totally turned the momentum of the game because of field position and points off turnovers.
Dr. Butler, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you, Doc.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And there they are, Manda, a Louisiana institution. Flavor does say it all, huh, buddy?
Yeah, and I think we served up a lot of the hot smoked sausage after the game.
Oh, yeah, we're throwing everybody in the bus. I've had Coach Hankton, Sloan, Frank, everybody, BK, no defensive coaches thrown under the bus. And we didn't throw the special teams coach, Nagel, under the bus yet. And we didn't throw Brad Davis under the bus.
Well, look, enjoy those products. Of course, going back to Tiger Stadium, they are the official smoked sausage of LSU athletics. You can have it out in the parking lot. And I do think it will build up next week, and there's going to be a great, Tiger Stadium at night is just a different animal. Oh, by the way, in case you missed this, Saturday night when you go to bed, put your clocks back one hour, fall back 1 hour as we start getting the darks at 5:30. You like that or not?
I do.
You do? Traffic doesn't like it, so
No. I don't like it.
yeah.
No, I like. I'm
daylight
all for.
savings.
I'm all for changing the law and getting rid of it.
Yeah.
All right. And why does that never happen? By the way,
I think
they talk about it and then it dies.
Yeah.
I
think the same thing happened with that situation as what happened with LSU and A&M. They didn't finish.
Yeah, we need politicians to do two things in this state: get us a new Mississippi River bridge, and get rid of daylight savings time like Arizona does.
Speaking of that, you have the opportunity to vote next Tuesday for all of the races, and don't forget first CFP poll next Tuesday at 6:00. Problem is losing that game. LSU won't be even anywhere in the
boy. Had you won that game, you could sit here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In the catbird seat.
Yep.
And then you got to sit here for 2 weeks with a sour taste in your mouth. All right, LSU. That was a final 110-48 over Loyola. Listen to some of these points: Sears with 16, Bailey with 10, Carter with 21, Reed with 10, Miller with 7, Williams III with 11, Givens with 10, Collins with 7, Chess with 4. Victorious Miller with 9. Boy, they went around pretty darn good. And the minutes were pretty good. Most minutes were Bailey and Sears with most minutes played. But there you go. I think Matt McMahon seems to be fun to watch this season.
Yeah, bottom fifth, the Yankees did get out the inning. So Dodgers did put up another run, 5-4 going into the bottom of the fifth, game 4 of the World Series on Fox right now.
Andy Whitaker says Manda is the best sausage to put in red beans.
There you go.
And
Andy, I tell you what, let's get crazy. If LSU beats Alabama, is Andy the one that said 7-5 or 8-4? Which
no,
one?
Andy's been 11-1.
11-1. Okay, yeah, that's the one that always teases you after the show. Come on, Mike.
There's
LSU beats Alabama, we're going to get Andy Whitaker some sausage.
Good. All right. And I got one more, but wait till you see what I attached to this. Capital City Grill, and you got to get over there and try out that brunch, folks. One thing that we try to do with all our TigerBait sponsorship is partner with a locally owned business, and we've experienced firsthand how great Capital City Grill is. 100 Lafayette Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Capital City Grill is your ideal lunch and dinner stop for your casual dining experience. Capital City Grill features a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta, and steaks. Almost everything priced at $30 below for an affordable experience. Don't forget to celebrate a Tigers win at their Sunday morning brunch from 11 to 2. They're open till 3. They have a great sandwich, regular menu, but the brunch is from 11 to 2. Go over to capitalcitygrill.net. You can make reservations there, but really check out the menu. And if you go in, please tell the hostess or your waiter or waitress that TigerBait sent you in. And look at this I'm putting on the screen right now. That is the waffle chicken and waffles that I had a couple of Sundays ago. It's the best chicken and waffles I've ever had. They load it up with Steen syrup, and that's the Louisiana institution right there. And but they pour the syrup on it. So if you don't like it as crazy as that, tell them to give you the syrup on the side. And as always, get the carrot cake to go. But if you have that much sugar with the syrup, I don't know that you're going to be ready for carrot cake for a few days.
Excellent outdoor patio. Enjoyed going over there a couple of weeks ago, walking downtown and all that. A lot of fun. Always consistent, Mike. Always consistent.
Absolutely. Great club sandwich. Great hamburgers. Brad David, that looks good, Mike. Brad, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying it. If chicken and waffles on the menu, I typically get it. There's a couple of brunch spots that around town, and trust me, that's the best chicken and waffles. All right, here we go. Dane Bergeron says, good shows, guys. Music says, if LSU beats Bama, I'm going to drink until I pass out. Yeah, going to the top of 6 now, buddy. Still 5-4 Yanks. All right, anything you want to add on the way out?
Just a little chance to enjoy the rest of the games. As we said, Ohio State, Penn State early on. Not that much of a big schedule with the SEC. I ask you, Carolina, A, do you think they start Marcel Reed? And B, do you think they take care of Carolina on Saturday night? That game's the big game on Saturday night, ABC. And I kind of enjoyed
it. It would be an A&M thing to do to lose that one. But it also would have been an A&M thing to do for them to lose to LSU, with that being one of the most consequential home games in decades for them.
Yeah, that was a big game.
And they took care of business. So let's see if they can handle prosperity, and because South Carolina's going to be ready for them.
Yeah, Georgia, Florida, the cocktail game. Obviously, that is getting ready to go on the campuses. So I think this might be the last year, maybe one more year in Jacksonville. Tennessee hosting Kentucky. Kentucky has fallen off. Boy, A&M almost had Stroubes. They go for Mike Elko. I'm going to tell you, folks, I think Mike Elko is going to do a hell of a job over there. He's a good, solid coach. He's a no-nonsense guy. And as we know in recruiting, they got the money to NIL. But hang in there, Tiger fans. We'll be back here next week and get you fired up and ready to go.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll be back at the regular Wednesday slot. And I think Preston and Zach might either be tomorrow night while I'm at the women's game, or they're going to go Thursday night. But he'll let you know on X and on our message board on TigerBait tomorrow, either way. So, all right, everybody, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button on the way out, and go to TigerBait.com. We got a lot of recruiting content on the site and more coming throughout the week. I've got a ton of prospect video. We were at several games this past weekend. And so go to TigerBait.com, subscribe for $1. You'll enjoy the website. All right, everybody. Good night.